Hello, hello.
Hello, hello.
And we are back on the internet, baby.
Woo! I was most worried about you being on the internet, sir.
Yeah.
Hello?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, is it?
Somebody forgot your name, that's why.
What? I forget. I was thinking it was the wrong name the whole time. I'm the worst.
Graveyard.
Sorry,
Thank you for tuning in, and thank you for your Kyber K purchase. I was told that you bought a Luke episode 6 from us, which we will be getting out to you very shortly. Thank you so much, and as our official first Patreon, yay! So tell everybody, not that you haven't had an exciting week, Aubrey, but I'm pretty sure that the last 48 hours for Mr. Fours has been pretty dramatic. Why don't you tell everybody about that?
It's all about him right now.
I'll be honest. We were really, really lucky, blessed, whatever you want to call it. We didn't even lose power.
Wow.
Oh, that's awesome.
Well, tell everybody where you're at for people that may not be familiar.
Okay, so I'm like the most central of Central Florida, and that storm ripped through this state. Let me tell you,
Wow.
it started down around the Tampa area and made its way like northeast bound. So if you're looking at the screen, it kind of did this, and it kept skewing further south. So by the time those bands hit my county, it was just a tropical storm force storm.
Nice.
Right.
So the wind.
When you do this, though, all I could think of is like, he's not doing the dab, everyone.
He's dabbing out there in the middle of the goddamn storm. You know what? Since you're here, I mean, I'm just we never really do this way, but you know what? This happens to be our one of our topics tonight, so I feel like every time I talk directly to Fours, the fucker like goes off screen.
I know. It's actually more like he's consulting with Kakaroto. That's basically.
So apparently, I need like 2 minutes. So give me 2 minutes.
Not a problem. Well, that'll give us plenty of time to check in with our other fabulous host tonight. How are you, Miss Aubrey?
Tired.
Did you have a storm to survive too?
Sort of. But it's okay, it's fine now. No,
Personal
it's
storms?
fine. No, not totally. More or less, just a lot going on. Just worked a lot this week, and got woken up super early this morning to help my sister out, and then had a call from a band manager who's like, "Hey, do you want to join our band?" So
did you like have to go and check out an audition for that? Oh, snaps.
No, he actually wanted me to miss the stream to go, and I was like, no, because it's in San Jose. I was like, no, I'm not missing the podcast.
Wow. Well, thank you very much. We got Johnny Collado, Mr. Dark Wolf Sabers is in the house. Woof woof. I am excited. I got a hat coming. I am very excited. I don't get to rock cool clothing all the time. Say Wong, what is up?
Hey, Say Wong. Hey.
When Say Wong is checking in, he's at a con somewhere.
Yeah, usually. Yeah, so great. You said that he won a Luke 6 episode.
Yes.
6. Does that mean is that Return of the Jedi Saber?
Oh, yes. That is Luke's first build.
Yeah, Return of the Jedi is my favorite of the movies, so.
Right. Well, as long as we keep
before you ask about the Ewoks, no, it's not because of the Ewoks.
No,
it's not.
What draws you into 6?
I like the idea of temptation, the temptation to join the dark side, and while Luke contemplates it, everything just goes full circle.
Right.
For him, and he rejects it, and I don't know. There's something about that. It's just kind of amazing. He's like, no, I'm not going to join you. I'm a Jedi like my father before me, and it's just amazing.
Right. The
I resonate with Luke
turn.
a lot.
Oh,
So.
it's my wall.
Yeah.
It's
The
your
wolf
wood.
pack is in the house.
Oh.
Hey, Forrest, now that you're back on screen, Graveyard says my niece was in St. Augustine down there for school. Is that where?
Yeah.
Is that near where you're at, or
St. Augustine is about 2.5 hours out.
out? Is that north, east,
That's
west,
northeast of me. Yeah.
northeast of you? Wow. Were they in line of sight for that? For the hurricane coming through there?
I think originally yes, but I think they got out unscathed.
Right. It's so weird. Like, we were talking about it online. You were like, you were talking about how you would rather deal with this than shit in California. And I think, like, how do you feel about Aubrey? Like, when he was saying that, I was like, well, I mean, we don't really have earthquakes all that often, and fires, at least for the most part, except for when they first start. When they first start, you might be in trouble, but usually after they get going, like, we get some kind of notice that a fire's coming our direction. I don't know, like, what would you
Not
rather deal with,
scary.
Aubrey? Would you rather deal with tornadoes or with earthquakes and fires?
I'd rather deal with hurricanes, honestly. Tornadoes are scary as shit.
That's my girl.
And I like hurricanes because I am one. But I mean, fires are scary as shit. I've actually had to evacuate from one, and I have a lot of friends who had to evacuate, and I've had family who's also it's scary. Like, it comes so fast. Even if
Right.
you've had warning, it's so fast that you almost have literally no time to get anything. One of my best friends was actually in a fire recently. They just had to evacuate her twice in 1 month from her home. The first one, she basically got out of there with like all the animals and like her trailer, luckily enough. But the fire was like right on her heels. If she had left maybe 5 minutes later, she probably wouldn't have gotten out.
Right.
Had to leave everything behind. And then this other one, they basically had kind of the same thing, but it was a little bit more time. They actually got it really fast because they were already firefighters in the area because
Right.
of the earlier one, and among some other things. So it actually was really lucky. That one got put out pretty quickly, but the other one burned for a long time.
Right.
Graveyard
Graveyard says that they deal with tornadoes up there in the Chicago area. Okay, so forgive my ignorance because we don't really deal with most of these in California. Hurricane is when it comes in off the water, right? And tornado is just when it's land based, correct?
So tornadoes can happen as a result of a big storm like a hurricane. Like, it can send off gusts that'll start funneling basically. There's typically, when you have a major hurricane that starts like as a Cat 4, Cat 5, you have tornado watches and a lot of tornado warnings. But again, Florida's not as bad for tornadoes as some other states are.
So tornado then meaning it is land based, correct?
Yeah.
I mean, what's the difference? If I say what's the difference between a tornado and a hurricane, like what is the defining difference?
Well, I mean, a hurricane is basically a swirling storm that could, be literally 100 some odd miles wide. Actually, wider. Right. This last storm, I think, was about 300 some odd miles wide. Whereas a tornado can rip through your neighborhood like a funnel, and yeah.
Well, so
I had a neighborhood when I was a kid that was literally demolished by a single tornado.
Jesus. So a tornado, then they're smaller then? Is that the defining nature of it? They're smaller?
They're narrow. They're more narrow, but the amount of destruction in some ways is worse than in a hurricane, in my opinion. Sometimes it's worse, but for the most
No, that was going to be my next follow-up question, is which one is worse of the two? I mean, I would think with the hurricane, you also have to deal with water damage, right? Which sometimes could be the worst part of the whole thing.
That's why I'm saying sometimes it's worse.
Yeah.
But if you're prepared and I mean, you probably could speak better on this than I can, but if you're prepared and you have ways of circumventing that, it's not so terribly bad. But if you have something that, like in Katrina, where the levees broke because they actually hadn't been maintained in a long
Fortified and
time. Yeah, they
yeah.
hadn't been maintained, or I mean, they funneled all the money to other places, and that was a kind of a cluster situation. But it's not as bad as it could be, from what I've heard and seen. Like a lot of, because you guys deal with hurricanes how many times a year?
So
Yeah.
hurricane season typically goes from August to November.
So like the summer months, summer, fall. Late, yeah, fall.
Fall month.
Oh,
Mhm.
so yeah. Sorry, my bad.
What were y'all talking about while I was gone? I heard Return of the Jedi.
Oh,
Graveyard bought a saber from Kyber Cave earlier today. Bought in episode 6, Luke,
and then I
and
said,
she
oh,
was
it's
saying
from
that
Return of the
was
Jedi.
oh Suki. There it is. There it is, mate.
It don't get any more movie
Oh,
accurate than that.
Wow,
Pretty
nice
beautiful.
weathering you got going on that bad boy.
Pretty
Yeah,
nice.
that's my baby.
And Graveyard, when you need fonts,
And-
this is the man to talk to right here.
Yes.
If he doesn't have it in his category, he can create it.
Totally.
Yeah, and Ark was just asking why 6 was my favorite, because I said it was my favorite movie, and then I had to basically go not because of the Ewoks.
Out of all 9 of them, yeah, Return of the Jedi is my absolute favorite.
It's my favorite. It's the best.
All right,
And he's asking
so-
me why. So why is it your favorite?
So many reasons. Luke and Leia's scene, Luke and Vader scene,
Yes.
the Emperor scene. Pick one.
Yeah.
Love them all. They're so good.
So,
All right, so getting back, Graveyard says hurricanes start in warm currents in hot areas from the east travel west. Tornadoes are colliding hot and cold winds.
see, Graveyard's got his science on tonight.
Yeah. We have to have somebody that can like check us around here. Okay. So then the type of destruction, I guess, I would be different, because a tornado is when you get hot and cold air colliding. So maybe it's like a faster wind or something like that. Maybe that's why it's more destructive.
The G-force is a bit different. Yeah.
Forrest, how long have you lived in Florida?
My whole friggin' life.
How many times have you had to prepare for a storm?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
Jeez.
8.
8 times. Have they, do you know, like, have they been both tornado and hurricane? Like, have you seen the difference in destruction between both?
Okay, so when you're dealing with hurricanes and you're dealing with tornadoes and whatnot, what you're looking at is wind damage. So your trees are coming down, your power lines are coming down, your shingles are coming off your roof. If you have a metal roof, it's getting rolled, peeled back.
Wow.
If you're living in a trailer, nice knowing you. I'm serious. It's funny. Dave was telling me in California, brick homes are not your friend.
Mhm.
In Florida, brick homes are your best friend.
Right.
Mm.
They are your best friend.
Wow.
I'm serious. Shutters are your best friend. Really, the only thing that you're going to have to keep your eyes on is your roof. I mean, that's pretty much it. Make sure your shutters are great, so you protect your windows. And make sure that wherever you live, it's not in a low-lying area. The mid-states are low-lying areas, why they flood so bad. Here, we don't have as bad flooding. However, if you're on the coast, either end, you got to deal with high tide. You got to deal with all that water. So, but again, I would so much rather deal with this than have to deal with a blizzard, than have to deal with a fire, have to deal with an earthquake. I can't. I straight up can't. I don't want to burn. I don't want to fall into the earth. I don't want to freeze over. I'll take the hurricane.
I think it's so funny because I think our misconceptions about hurricanes or tornadoes are like the same as your guys' misconceptions of earthquakes and fires. Although I think it's horrible that we can talk so
Mm.
casually about earthquakes and fires. Just like, oh yeah, yeah, no big deal.
Well, most of our earthquakes, to be fair, are really minor. We haven't had like a category. We haven't had like a level 6 earthquake or magnitude 6. I'm sorry, magnitude 6 earthquake in a while. They're usually like 5 and a below generally, which means that you barely feel. Sometimes you barely feel it. Sometimes it's a little bit of shaking. It's nothing huge. Uh, the I want to make sure I'm saying this right. The the La Paloma earthquake, the
Hmm.
1989 earthquake,
Yeah, yeah,
was a 6.5, and the destruction was massive. But we
right,
haven't had
right.
it. But we haven't had a earthquake like that. And actually, the last earthquake
There's
that was
been
that big was 1906, and that's when we had the earthquake and the fire.
And
The
there's been a
fire was
couple
not fun.
big ones in Napa because they had some destruction in downtown Napa, and
Yeah,
also
something big.
there was some flooding because they have a river bank or a river that kind of runs through town or whatever. They had some flooding, and so there's been smaller cases, but then also like where we live in Northern California, it doesn't tend to be. I mean, the Bay is like an hour from us, so even
Loma
within the
Prieta.
span of that hour drive,
Prieta?
there's a huge difference in the amount of destruction that happens. Also, we don't have a lot of the bigger buildings and bridges and structures as, say, San Francisco and down by the city does.
It's
Okay.
Loma Prieta. I just had to double check it to make sure. It's the
Thank
Loma
you.
Prieta earthquake. Yeah, I was like, can't remember because we always call it the 1989 earthquake. But yeah,
Right, 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 right. Ari, where were you during that quake? Do you like everybody knows exactly what they were doing when that quake happened? What were you doing?
I was not in the state.
Oh man, where were you?
I was in Utah.
Oh snap! Wait, so were you living there, or were you like visiting, or?
I was living in there.
Oh man. Okay, we'll forget you then.
That's where I'm originally from. Is from Utah. I mean, it's like my hometown, my home state.
Johnny says, "I want to be in a quake."
Says I never want to be in
Jane.
a quake.
There was an earthquake in Santa Rosa 2 hours away, where they had all the fires the last few years. Yeah, Santa Rosa, man, they've been catching beatings out there.
Yeah, Chico
Um,
and the Paradise Valley too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, it's so funny because, like, here, like, I've even heard a few people say, oh, the fires haven't been as bad this year. They've been bad. They just haven't been as close to us. We're just so used to, like, the air being nasty and polluted for 3 months out of the summer. So when we haven't had it, it just seems like, oh, there must not be fires. No, they're just, in different parts of the state.
And that
Yeah, I
can't
think it
good for
was.
your lung capacity. Like
Oh, it's
all
not
the
good.
toxins you're breathing in. Like, do you really want to be there in that?
Hey man, we got San Francisco and L.A. and San Jose. We're used to it. Damn it, our lungs are conditioned for this shit.
So
We've been
so
practicing our whole lives for this.
I think it was last year, but there actually it was so bad. The fires were so bad. It was either 2020 or 2021. We actually, at least over here where I'm at in Rio Vista, there actually were warnings like to go outside because of the air quality. And literally, it was like ashes raining from the sky, and the sky like had
Yeah,
this greenish gray tint, like this greenish tint, like everything yellowish green tint. And like we had ash raining from the sky. It was crazy.
That's
And that
creepy.
happened for like, oh yeah, I was like, oh,
yeah.
I'm in
You'd go
Silent
up.
Hill now. This is
Yeah,
Silent
and
Hill
see, it
territory.
seriously
Woo!
seemed like like some scene out of a movie from hell. Because you'd go outside and there would just be like a thin blanket of like
You know what I'm
soot
talking
on
about
your
because you're in
car.
Fairfield.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then you'd look outside and the sun would be coming through an orange grayish smoke. It looked like the eye of Sauron.
Oh yeah,
If
it
you
was
could see the
crazy.
sun.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
everything
don't
looked
need to.
like a yellowish green. I actually took a picture of it.
Right?
I was like, I'm living in Silent Hill now.
Hell no. I'm not. I don't. I'm not dealing with Silent Hill. I'm not dealing with the Eye of Sauron. I'm not dealing with any of it. That's a
That's
no
all
go with
right.
me.
I'm fine going to Mordor. It's fine.
Dude,
I mean,
Johnny's always.
one of my nicknames is Frodo. I'm fine with this.
Oh man, dude, Johnny's always clowning me for my laugh, dude. Yeah, James, the California Republic Comic Con was shut down this year. I think that was supposed to be last weekend or the weekend before. Sometime it was should have been recently, but that's where they have all the fire trucks set up as a kind of a base to go to the other fires right now. So the fires are happening.
So aside from the natural disasters that we are aware of, we have our hurricanes and we have our fires, we have our earthquakes. Have you guys experienced any other natural disasters, like maybe in your travels? Like, Van, have you ever been in a blizzard?
I don't necessarily know about Blizzard. We live where we are. Like, if I want to go to Reno or go to Tahoe, we have to. I don't know. I don't know if it's as big where you're at. Have you ever heard of the Donner Pass, Aaron? Like, is that a thing in Florida? In California, every kid knows about the Donner Pass, but like, do people in Florida know what the Donner Pass is?
Graveyard and Johnny say yes.
Oh, Ark, check the backstage.
Oh, okay, my bad.
It's okay.
Oh, my bad. Oh my goodness.
Yay!
Yay! So sorry. Hello.
I just got here.
What did you do to your hair? What did you do to your
it's
hair?
pulled back. Sorry.
Oh, okay. I was like, what did you do?
Not yet. I'm about to. Trust.
Oh no, Anthony, no.
Anthony, you've got the awesome shirt. Where's the glowing tie?
I don't know.
I left that in the closet where I came from.
Donner Party of One.
Oh God. No,
Donner Party, yeah.
I literally popped in right as Aubrey was talking about Silent Hill, and honest to God, Lodi would be like the perfect location for Silent Hill.
No, you
Or
haven't
Rapid
been.
City.
No. You haven't been to Rio Vista. It is like Silent Hill here. It's seriously the
Oh,
sleepiest
I've been to Rio
town.
Vista.
I love this place. I
Yeah.
love this
Here,
place.
you know that, right?
Huh?
We have a lake here in Lodi.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's Lodi Lake.
Oh, interesting.
Damn it, we need
Well-
more East Coast people on the show.
No. Actually, you know what I feel like about Lodi? I feel like Lodi is Nightmare on Elm Street. It's
I
like the
can see that
never-ending dream. I actually had an experience where I was caught. It was like in this loop. I was driving. You're trying to find this place in here. It's my first time out this way, and I was trying to get home from Sacramento, and we got lost. And it was like we kept passing the same sign over and over again. We're like, my friend and I were in the car, and we're like, what is going on? And it was like an hour. We kept passing the sign. And then somehow we could turn around and we would just do the same thing. It's like, what is happening?
Wow.
Why?
Bad video game script.
Are we stuck in Elm Street? What are we doing here? Like, where's
That's
Freddy
too
Krueger?
weird.
Don't know. It was creepy. It was actually to the level we were both freaking out.
So I got
no idea what happened.
James says Lodi's got wine. They're going to be fine.
Oh, James, no.
Come by our post office. It looks like the Raccoon City Police Department.
Love it.
Where's
Now
Mezzo
that's
to play
great.
that theme for me?
Yeah. Snowpocalypse 2021 was in Chicago during where the lake went onto the expressway and froze all the cars there.
Oh my God, was that the year that New York had the perfect storm?
I think.
Oh,
so.
I remember
Yeah.
that year.
My
There was, like-
2011?
my son was out there on her mission.
I vaguely recall that, but yes.
Dude, that
Wasn't
was
that the same
awful.
like time that all those movies came out? Like
Yes.
Tomorrow.
2012, 2001, 2012. Yep. So twice. 2000.
Yeah, there was a movie called The Perfect Storm, in fact.
Yes.
Yeah, that was in the year 2000 or 99. It's actually based on a Stephen King story.
Oh, it was
I thought that was
so
based on a
awful.
real story.
No, this one was based on...
Storm of
I mean,
the
there
Century.
may be a Stephen King, I'm not sure, but this one was based on the events of when all three of the
Oh, you're
storms
talking
hit.
about the perfect storm. That's what you're talking
Yeah,
about. I was
you
thinking
know-
Storm of the Century.
Oh my!
Ah.
Was it Storm of the Century? Or was it the
There was
Perfect
a-
Storm?
Perfect
that the
Storm is
one-
a different movie.
Was
It's a
that the
different
one
movie.
where the demon is on TV and he's like, Billy, you're too damn short to play basketball.
No, I think that's actually Tommyknockers. That's
Okay.
Tommyknockers.
I don't know.
So, Graveyard says Storm of the Century, Stephen King.
Storm
Oh,
of the
I know.
Century. That
Storm of
was
the Century.
The acting in that was so bad.
Pretty bad.
People snow sailing down Fifth Avenue. Holy crap. What are people in the audience? What are your worst, most horrifying natural disaster experiences that you've ever had to live through? Wahlberg and Clooney, they were
Oh
dangerous.
God,
Ooh,
they were
somebody else is
dangerous.
jumping in.
That's what the
And-
perfect
And
storm is
speaking of
about.
dangerous, there's Captain Dangerous right there.
Oh,
Dun
snap.
dun.
What's
Oh,
going on,
Captain,
Mr. David?
my Captain.
I'm not feeling all that
Captain,
dangerous
Captain.
today. I've worked some ungodly hours this week. I
Yeah.
only just got home about 15
You're
minutes
right.
ago.
Oh wow. You're right, Graveyard. It was. I mean, it was based on like the events of Roanoke. Like it was kind of like telling like it was more in modern day, but that had to do with Roanoke. It was basically like the same events or similar events. That's why it's called the Storm of the Century, because it's based on how Roanoke, like what they thought, not what thought, what's I'm not saying this right. What's speculated about Roanoke, like he basically was like, well, what if it was a demon that actually comes and or an ancient entity that comes every 100 years and there's like the perfect storm, like storm of the century that happens.
Makes me think of Jeepers Creepers. Go figure. Every 27 years.
Wow,
That's
my
it.
wife.
That's it.
That's it.
My wife blasting with the AC in the winter.
Which is an alien species.
So since all of us are in coastal states, let me ask you all this question.
Mhm.
In the very unlikely event that it should happen, are you all further enough inland that you would consider yourselves safe from a tidal wave?
Depends
So
on how
I think
big
that
it is.
the Central Valley is kind of one of those things. Like if something crept over that precipice and is enough to go into the valley, like everyone in the valley is screwed.
Yeah, so the way things work in the bay, let me put myself on the main there. The way everything works in the bay, we've got the main bay, but there's a lot of like rivers and streams. The Sacramento River comes off of that, and it goes into the smaller towns: Lodi, Rio Vista, Sassoon, Fairfield. So if of a big, say, tidal wave was to come in, it would, depending how big it was, it would flow down all those streams.
It would actually it would turn the entire Central Valley into a inland lake, a giant inland sea, because it would make it through the Delta region.
Right, and a lot of those are man-made, like 100-year-olds, built levees and stuff like that. So, first big drove through 5 tornado paths. All roads were flooded. Watched the sewer road flood and basement flood. Got a bonus for coming in.
Yeesh.
Yay.
Wow. So yeah, that was another thing that I found interesting. I was asking you for is like, how does that work when you have natural disasters? Like, when do you go back to your job, and like, when do you go back to school and shit?
So it heavily depends upon the forecasters, to be truthful. Like here in Central Florida, we have like the channel 9. It's the station that carries eyewitness news. So there would be our ABC here. I don't know what y'all's ABC is, but ours is 9. And they've got like this chief meteorologist that is nationally acclaimed. And we have this joke here in Florida: if Tom Terry rolls his sleeves up, we're in trouble. And sure enough.
What we have
A few
over here is
hours in, when he
morning.
got out of bed and got in the studio, he rolled his sleeves up, and I said, "Oh shoot, it's on!"
He's like the fucking groundhog for Florida.
Correct. So to answer your question, though, the meteorologists, with Channel 9, what they do is they're tracking this thing days and days and days in advance, and when the European model and all the other models essentially line up and they can determine a path, then they determine a timetable and go from there. In case of Ian, they determined 3 days. So what they did is 3 days prior, alerts went out to the entire state, and schools were canceled. Major government businesses were canceled. The day of the storm, everything was shut down, like literally everything. And then the day after, which would be what was today, the government businesses remained closed. Regular businesses opened up again, and then they kept schools closed an additional day because people who were utilizing the schools as storm shelters had the opportunity to clean up and go home.
Right.
So
Wow.
again, it depends upon the severity of the storm. This was considered a 3-day disaster, so it gave people time to get in place, ride it out, clean up, and go home. So major hurricanes like this one that travel at like 8 miles an hour is about a 3-day process.
Damn.
Wow.
Do people just constantly clean up their houses multiple times and rebuild that shit? And I mean, it seems to me if you know that this is a typical place that tornadoes come through, wouldn't you just not build your house there anymore?
It honestly.
By the way, Johnny, thank you for tuning in. I know you said you had to roll. We love you, dog. Thank you so much. And we will see you next time.
Bye, Wolf.
Next time. Goodbye.
Ow. Anyways, go ahead.
Got a quick question, guys. I just got a direct message from somebody who was trying to watch the show. They said they can't seem to see the show right now.
It is only on YouTube.
Okay.
So we are switching to a YouTube only format. That way, what we're trying to do is encourage more people to use our YouTube page, because we are trying to grow that so that we can grow as a production company. So that would be the problem. So we are advertising on Facebook, but if you look at all of these comments, they're all coming in through YouTube.
Right.
Okay. I'll mention that.
So yes, in case you didn't know.
You know.
I was waiting on Anthony to do it.
So I had, and I'm actually, now that David and Anthony are here, I'm going to ask them as well. But I actually have kind of a funny story we were talking about the God, now I've forgotten how to say it. How do you say it, Aubrey?
Donner Pass?
The Donner
No,
Pass? Which one?
We still got to get back to Donner Pass too. The earthquake. The earthquake.
The
Loma Paloma. Right.
Loma Prieta.
So the day that earthquake happened,
where were you?
I was in sports at that time, right? So I used to play water polo and swim team. And it was the only day in like 3 years I had been in sports that I had taken a day off because I was going to get my very first car, right? So we go out to Vacaville to this used car lot, and I get my first car, but because there's no insurance on it, my mom won't let me drive the new car. I have to drive her car home, right? So I remember pulling up to the stoplight at Travis Air Force Base, and taking a left, and all of a sudden I feel the car start vibrating and shaking. Oh, what's up, Sally? I feel the car vibrating and shaking, and then I start freaking out because holy crap, this is the first time I've ever driven the car by myself, and I fucked my mom's car up on the first time. And then I looked up and saw the stoplight bouncing up and down.
Oh, jeez.
And I remember vividly thinking, oh my God, thank God it's only an earthquake. But then, obviously at the time, I had no idea of knowing, the magnitude of that earthquake. But I was just happy I didn't.
Was this the 1989 one?
Yeah,
yes.
Talking about 1989.
I do have a story about this.
Yeah, I was saying everybody who was in California, everybody remembers exactly where they were at when that happened.
Okay, so for me, I was 4, so I don't remember it, but I remember my stepfather telling me in vivid detail this story multiple times. So when it happened, he had just picked me up from daycare, which was kind of out in the outskirts of town as it was.
Right.
But he recognized that there was an earthquake going on, and he was driving his cherry Corvette that's a powder blue sparkle color and everything. He drove that shit out into the middle of a field. Went out into the middle of an empty field because he's this is the only place I know that we will be safe.
Right.
In case anything else hits. And me, I'm the entire time just I have no idea what's going on. So I just remember that whole story. But yeah, that's the thing that always kills me about when people talk about California, though, from other states. How do you live with all of those earthquakes? I'm you mean the ones that happen every 30 years?
Right.
We basically name ours after the year. We don't name them Earthquake George. It's never
That is a good point.
I was 4 as well, by the way. I was also 4 when
So
it
yeah,
hit,
85.
but yeah.
Hey, but
Your
I
greatness,
always get
yeah.
a kick out of that with like people from Texas. Like, how do y'all live out there with all them earthquakes? I was like, bitch, it's the fires you gotta watch out for.
Right.
We were just fires.
That's what
The
we
one
were just
couple
talking
years
about,
ago,
how scary they
whoa.
are. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Earthquake
Okay.
George is the
That was my
best.
story.
James said, I was playing tennis. I thought it was just having a monster two-handed topspin backhanded day. Yeah, it's funny, dude. Like,
That's funny.
everybody remembers exactly where they're at. Whoa, there's Dave. He's back now. We can ask Dave, where were you at during the big earthquake, or what were you doing?
All right, so I was 15. I was just walking out of a guitar store, and I was getting picked up by my mom in her station wagon. And almost as soon as I shut the door, the station wagon started jumping up and down. And my mom thought that was some of my friends jumping on the back of the car. And then she said, then she looked around and we saw everything. We saw everything shaking. So it was an earthquake at that point.
Right.
Wow.
Wow. What about people out there? I did see up here. I want to go back to a couple. I saw. James had said, and I remember this: the earthquake in Japan created a tidal wave reaction that ended up hitting Crescent City in Northern California. That was actually with the nuclear reactor in Japan too. So they were talking about how, yes, the radiation was actually getting all the way over here. And then he also said driving to Vegas, 114 temperatures, then monsoon rain, small twister, hail. Jeez. Went from 114 to 68, then back up to 110.
Yeah, that's a big fat negatory.
Crazy.
Not doing
And this is why I'll never work in Vegas.
Yeah, when I lived in Utah, we would have blizzards every once in a while where I lived, but it wasn't that bad. I mean, it was like 3 feet of snow. It's nothing. It was.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't.
Take me off the camera here, dude.
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
funny.
Yeah. Sorry. I'm not sure. What do you guys think the worst natural disaster would be? What is a national? What is that?
Pompeii.
Oh well.
Yeah,
okay, so
it's pretty high up there.
I was gonna say volcanic eruption and tidal wave.
Tidal wave, I think, would be pretty horrifying.
But I mean, mid-state people ain't got to worry about that. But freaking
Flash flooding is pretty scary, actually. Flash flooding. I've been in a couple flash floods. Those are pretty scary.
That always makes me think of the movie Jumanji. When they're in the house and the fucking monsoon just sweeps through.
Yeah.
When crocodiles pop up out of nowhere.
I don't even know goddamn crocodiles in my house.
It's nothing. Oh my god.
Graveyard says Old Faithful erupting.
Well,
that's what I said. Old Faithful is
there's
nothing.
There's a super volcano, I believe, in Yellowstone or something like that. That like, if that goes off, we're fucked.
The entire Yellowstone basin is a giant super volcano, and it's live.
So it's one of those things that's like overdue for an eruption too, which I'm like,
like by
these so many scientists found a way. Like, we're gonna just make this so it doesn't happen. But
wow, this is a fantastic. Where the hell are you, James? Why aren't you on here? James, you better hit that link and jump on here. You're on the board. If you're talking to us in the comments, why aren't you on the damn screen, James? James, you better get in the comments. That is actually an excellent question. I would love to know. If you were stuck in a national disaster for a couple of days, what would be the one music or album you'd choose to have playing? You know, like that scene in Titanic where like the people are playing music as the ship is going down. Mm-hmm. If you had your last moments in a natural disaster, what song would you want playing as you were going out?
What's the music?
Final countdown.
Cliche. I'm going with the Black Parade. I'm going to be emo. Black Parade.
What did you say, David?
I said Slayer, Rain and Blood.
Oh, God, guys. Wow,
I think I choose some Enya.
Heck yeah, Enya for the win.
Yeah.
I was like either Queen or Michael Jackson. I was like, I don't know. I'm like way too poppy for you guys. I'm just gonna go see myself out.
Wow. Graveyard said anything by Earth, Wind, Fire.
I don't know. I just
That
can't. I can't picture "Beat It" being a good song to watch the world end with.
That's the perfect song to
So
sing because you
great.
need to beat it.
yeah.
I love it. Anything by Earth, Wind, and
Yeah.
Fire. Do
Yeah.
you remember when our people went off in
Ah,
September?
Well, there's a song
There you go.
Waves In.
Staying
You know
Alive.
that
That would be a
one?
good one.
Staying alive. I would not choose the Titanic soundtrack. Some
I
Bob
hated that.
Marley.
I hated that freaking movie.
So I have a funny story about that. I've
Ruh-roh.
seen that. I saw that movie 7 times in the theater. So my sister.
What? Are we talking about Titanic?
My sister is a big natural disasters like fanatic. Like she's really big. Like she knows almost everything there is to know about the Donner Party. Like she knows everything about like I mean not natural disasters, but really big like catastrophic events in history. But like she knows so much about like the Holocaust. But anyways, Titanic was like her favorite thing. She has so much. She knows. Oh gosh, she knows everything. Like she knows like the names of almost everyone on board. She could rattle them off. Those who survived, those who died. So she was obsessed with Titanic. She was obsessed with the movie. So she saw it like 12 times. She dragged me to see it like 7 times, and by the 7th time, I was like, okay, I'm done. I'm done with this movie. Done. But oh.
You know, when I was a merchant marine working for Exxon, we used to have a little ship theater. It was basically people's movies that they recorded on a VHS and brought out. Try watching Titanic while being on an oil tanker. That's a whole different experience.
Oh my god.
Bad idea.
Call her up, get her on the show.
I think she's busy.
I think another really
Graveyard
terrible
said
natural
REM.
disaster would be just I think a really terrible lightning storm, just an overwhelmingly large amount of electricity in the air, just just lightning everywhere. I mean, that's hella dangerous and common.
What's really
And
interesting is that lightning actually can cause, not only can it cause fires, but it actually can cause blizzards. And I never knew that. It's really
I
fascinating.
never heard of
We had a couple of
That's
years
actually
ago
true.
the
Cause a
one.
blizzard.
Yeah, I don't know about the blizzard,
Because
but
the electrons
had-
can start speeding up at a rapid frequency that can cause like the humidity in the air to crystallize into snow. It's really fascinating.
So that's where the day after tomorrow came from. Shoot.
Yes, I had to do that research for my first story.
Yeah, one of our really big fires that we had a few years ago was from lightning hitting a field somewhere, because that was the same year that we had that dumbass couple that set the forest on fire by doing the gender reveal.
God, the gender
Even we heard about that over here.
Yeah, that was a very Florida moment for California.
that was a Florida moment for California.
That's I was gonna say, you got Florida man. That was California gal right there. Cali gal. I'll call her Cali gal.
that was Valley Girl.
California girls,
Kinda true, actually.
undeniable, setting shit on fire.
Wish they all could be Californian girls.
There you go.
No, not those
for that one.
California girls.
Now, to be fair, like lightning strikes have always been a natural cause of forest fires, which is why that's something that is kind of a natural thing that happens. Like
It is.
forests know how to replenish themselves in small amounts. It's lately it's been really bad because it's so dry that we don't have enough water. You know, all these really big forests that have been around forever are just sucked dry, and then a little bit of kindling, and there it all goes.
Right.
Yeah, these heat waves have been so bad for California because California is a dry heat. We're not wet, especially in the last few years. We've been very, very dry. Like there's no humidity.
Yeah,
it's
to the
awful.
point to we're not even referred to as the Golden State anymore. Now we're the Golden Brown State.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have fire season.
We're the
I was gonna
burnt chicken nugget state. That's what we are.
Seriously, y'all are Anakin crispy out there.
We should have taken the high ground.
Oh, no. Yeah, do the high ground here.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy too. Like you see pictures of our water reserves and our water reservoirs. Because I think don't we like ship water out to Vegas? So like that's where I get concerned. Like,
No,
Huh?
not to Vegas. We send our
No,
water
south.
up here down to Los Angeles.
oh, we
Los
send it to Los
So the
Angeles.
people in Beverly Hills can have their golf courses and water their lawns.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
and our farms. It's also to water our farms down there because there's a lot of farms in the central and southern valley.
It's really
Yeah,
a
but that's
shame.
not in Los Angeles.
It's really a shame that there can't be some sort of system that would water the forests. You know, like keep moisture levels high in the forest. Like,
Well, we'd
I-
have
I-
to have the water first. I mean, let's pipe it from other states that are flooded.
well,
That- you know
right
what?
from the freaking ocean. You're right there on the coast.
We
you
do.
have
It's
to
called
desalinate
rain.
it.
It just doesn't.
Yeah,
happen
we have to-
anymore.
Yeah,
we have to
Desalinate it.
because water. Yeah, because it's salty. It's salt water. It's not fresh.
No.
Yeah, does salt-
when
would salt water
evaporates
not
off
put
the
out-
Ocean, it still comes down as clean water.
But yeah, I was gonna say, does salt water not put out fires or something, or is it like not as effective
No, it
as?
can, but if you salt the earth, nothing can fucking grow. So you don't want to put salt on your soil.
That
You
is a
want
good
to
point.
Evaporate the salt water for the water vapor to go into the air. That's how we can. Like, if there's a way
This
we
is
can
how we have the salt
that
plant.
way, it'd be great. But what we should be doing, this is
Oh,
something
yeah.
I think is done in Japan.
Oh.
Some other country does this, but like for our canals, you see those all the time. If you're in California, the canals that go down south, just absolutely open concrete little slabs that send water down. What we should be doing is creating solar panel structures over those, because what it does is it dual function. One, it creates solar paneling, which creates energy, which keeps those waters cooler so that it doesn't evaporate as fast. And as a result of water being under it, keeps the solar panels cool so they don't malfunction. And it doesn't take up any more land. You're literally doubling the resource of that plot for its entirety of its stretch. We should do that more. I don't know why that's not a thing. Like,
Right.
Gavin Newsom, hi, pull your head out of your ass. Maybe focus on something constructive other than your presidential run that you're trying to do in the next 4 years.
You know what? I've always wondered. You know, like we talk about these oil pipelines that go across the country, right? Why don't we have water pipelines that go across the country?
Right.
Even if it was
They're
dirty
corporations.
water, even if it was gray water, like I often see, you see flooding, extreme flooding in certain parts of the country. I was like, man, if you could channel that water and send it to another part of the country that needs it, I mean, it just seems like it would be, smart.
But the problem is that it's like, well, but where's the money in it?
That
People are
part right
weird.
there.
Well, I mean, it's called infrastructure. It's taxes we already pay
But
into.
how does somebody profit?
Well, not to
That's the
mention,
problem.
imagine the amount of.
Because that's
Damn.
why I think corporations.
You got to also
that's
think
why
about
you
the
have-
amount of energy that would cost to pump it continuously.
I just
call
want to.
bullshit.
I just want to
Solar
point out that
panels over the fucking canal.
Hold on.
Hey, look,
hold on, hold on,
I-
hold on.
Canals work on
Go Forrest,
gravity.
Forrest.
I
Sorry,
just
speak
want to.
first.
I just want to point out that it took an entire 48 minutes for this to get political. A whole 48 minutes, but we got there. Way to go, guys!
Wait, how did this get political? We're talking about water.
I did it. I
Always
did
says
it.
People can't
It's me.
capitalize off of actual functional things that we need.
There it is.
Right. Well, no. Okay. So look, I don't think it necessarily. I mean, I think everything when you get down to it could be political, but back during during the end of World War II or the Great Depression, sorry, that's how we got our economy going again, was to get
Yeah, the new-
national infrastructure and things that we needed done, freeways and road construction, water, all these things were there. If we redid that, not only would it revitalize jobs, but it would revitalize the country. It would make transportation a lot easier, and it would actually fulfill the needs of our citizens. I mean, I think it's a fucking shame that they still don't have clean water in Flint, Michigan.
Yeah.
Well,
How
yeah,
long ago was that? How long ago was
10
it that we
years,
found out
10,
about that?
15 years,
Like
10,
20
15
fucking
years.
years. Something
Yeah,
ridiculous
something like
like that. Like it's
It's
been
stupid.
forever.
And they still don't have clean water there.
And we're 22 years into the new millennium. So,
And
wow.
Jeff Bezos, you're a fucking trillionaire. Can you just look at that, I fixed it.
I mean, why would he when
Something
he's
nice.
making record profit and he doesn't have to pay taxes?
Yeah.
I mean, look. I mean, in California, so we have the PG&E, right, and they're basically a monopoly.
Mm-hmm.
And the problem with them is that we have to pay for all the energy, but they don't want to do shit. So this is why the San Bruno fire happened, is because they didn't maintain any of the infrastructure. They didn't, even though they promised they would do it, they didn't. And this is also why we're having a lot of the fires up north, is because PG&E can't get its head out of its ass to actually do something infrastructurally wise, but they just want to take all the money. Fuck them. They should actually
Right.
be they should not be a for-profit company. I'm sorry. I don't
Well,
think
that's one of the
our
lovely
basic
things
needs
about
should be
being in
profited.
Lodi, though, is that we have our own power that they generate through City of Lodi. So, like, PG&E only covers our gas, but outside of that, all of the electricity is run through City of Lodi. So we have our own, transformers. We have our own energy sources that we utilize. So when we have a lot of the like blackouts and brownouts around the other surrounding areas, we're not typically affected. The fact that it hit us a few weeks ago, back when I had to cancel my show, like that was a trip, because I was like, damn, for us to have these blackouts, there's clearly some shit hitting the fan.
Oh, you know what's funny is I actually got my show canceled that same day.
Yeah, you did. You told us that.
Yep. It's crazy because of the heat. Yeah, it's insane. Hi, Mezzo, by the way. Hello, M.
What's up, Mezzo? Our fabulous director. And but it's not much better in Texas. I mean, look at what happened in Texas when they run their own power grid.
Frozen out.
Right, and in fact, if you guys remember, what was it, 8 to 10 years ago, when we were having the continuous rolling blackouts in California, that's when we were buying our electricity from Texas, from Enron.
I remember that, and then they bailed out. PG bailed out, and they were supposed to pay that money back, and they never did. But they never got in trouble for it. Yay! Fuck that.
Too big to fail, huh?
A lot of heads rolled around there at Enron.
My friend almost died in the San Bruno fire. I think that's why I'm really salty about it. I think that's probably why, because she was like on the block over from where the explosion happened. Wow. She was just like 4 houses down. She could have died. I just no thanks.
Wow. Yeah. Has anybody else lived through any other natural? Well, we may not have heard from Dave or Anthony about other natural disasters that you may have been through.
There was a really bad storm like a year or so ago here in Lodi, where like it was like hurricane level winds. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it was something I had never ever in my life encountered here. Just howling winds, everything was going crazy. There was tons and tons of damage that got done by trees falling over, fences falling over, just shit we were not prepared for, because we just don't experience it here. And the entire time, my husband is like over here living his best dream, because he loves stormy weather. And he's like opening the windows like, oh my God, isn't this beautiful? And me, I'm terrified in the corner with my dog. Going, can you shut that shit before the fucking roof flies off? Like, what's wrong with you?
That's me.
So do you remember the big storm? Like, I think it was 2012 or 2013, and it was like during Thanksgiving. Everyone was making fun of California because everybody was losing their minds. And it was like our RIP California. It like had like a little chair like that fallen over because of the wind. Oh my God, that meme was around forever. I just laughed because I was stuck at work and it was Thanksgiving. We were all pissed. We were so mad. And it was like, even though it was like super stormy and like rain, like it was flash flooding, and we still had to work. We were not pleased. Screw you, Radio Shack.
I'm just not showing up. What are you gonna do? Sorry, my car was flooded in the street, bitch.
I've had that. To work. Did that in San Jose when it flooded.
I don't know if this qualifies for a natural disaster, but I was on a school camping trip. We were in Moab, Utah, and
love
It was
Moab.
really, 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 really windy one night to the point to where our tents were like flying away if we weren't in them. The next morning, we found out that a mini tornado had just blown through about
That counts.
half a mile away from us.
That counts.
It was kind of trippy. It was a lot of fun,
Rendering does
actually.
take forever.
Mezzo says
Yeah.
rendering takes forever.
It does. It does take forever.
I hope she's rendering another episode of Mortuary Assistant because I was enjoying the crap out of that last night.
I didn't get to.
There's a little reminder for people who may or may not know about it. Let's take a really quick break here in the middle, and I will let people know because we actually have some segue.
Oh, what happened to our king of the Segway doing that?
I don't even know what the next topic is, so how can I segue?
Stuff that pisses us off.
If you haven't noticed, I haven't really been in the chat thread like all week because I've been so swamped with work.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
See, and now we know what one of your pet peeves is.
DN.
There you go.
DN. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. Yeah. So
my pet peeve when somebody steals my Segway.
Sorry.
That's how I roll.
All right, so just to let some people know, we're making lots of changes. As David found out earlier tonight, and some of you may or may not know, we are on YouTube only now. We're
Speaking of which,
no longer.
You should have said that on the Facebook page prior to this.
Oh.
Yeah. You know, that's probably a good idea. Yeah. So going forward, we will try to make. You know what? We're doing the best we can. All right.
People need to get off Facebook anyway.
I don't know either.
We are on YouTube only, but that is so we can start to build our growth here. We just launched a Patreon page and we have 3 subscribers already, including Graveyard, who, by the way, will be on our show coming up not this Sunday, but the Sunday after. Graveyard runs a spooky podcast, so I am excited. Spooky. So I'm excited about that. We have a brand new show every Wednesday now, so we now broadcast 3 days a week. So that would be Sunday nights at 7 p.m. We run Saber Rattle. Wednesdays at 10 a.m. we do Kyber Cave Gaming, and there will be more extensions for Kyber Cave Gaming as well. So it'll probably not just be at 10 a.m., but you'll see it popping up at different times, possibly with different hosts or combinations of hosts.
Woohoo!
Who knows? We're going to have some exclusive content for our Patreon, including exclusive offers that are in there. So, Kyber K Production, we're finally going to start getting our own merch. You will only be able to get that through the Patreon, as well as there will be exclusive sabers. People that are helping out at our highest level will have a one-of-a-kind saber that nobody else in the world will own. It'll be beautifully etched or powder-coated or something very cool, which right now would be Graveyard. So if nobody else joins at that level, Graveyard automatically gets the super cool saber. So we have lots of prizes on different levels. Please make sure to check out. We even have a $1 level. So if you're poor like me, even helping us out at $1 shows us your support, and your name gets to pop up at the end of shows to say that you love us and that you support us. All right, so you got a segue for us now, David? Segue. Peeves.
Yeah, Forrest got that one. Got the jump on me on that one.
I've never had a segue in like all the months I've been on the show, so I'm very proud of that moment.
Congrats.
He's my surrogate segue.
Oh no.
Dave's proud of me because he managed to get me to say
S.
the F word like twice in one day.
He did.
Wow, that is an accomplishment for a show that.
It was his proudest moment. Actually, he was so happy.
I was.
It was announced on Facebook that
That's
it is
not
YG.
There was many cheers and much celebration.
He was popping his champagne bottle in the truck that day.
And I don't even drink. Imagine that.
Imagine that.
Right.
Well,
One of the few.
It wasn't because of David. It just was. It was
because of work.
Stuff that's going on. Yeah.
Right.
But
It was my powers of influence that I can make you even the most chaste become corrupt.
Oh,
The dark side is strong with him.
corrupt.
It is.
really is.
Oh God. Oh, goodness.
Wow.
I might just
Oh,
reciprocate.
All right, y'all. We are talking
Ah,
about
whew.
pet peeves. What is everyone got? Who wants to start? Pet peeves.
We heard one of mine earlier.
I got a great one.
Don't say anything about Attack of the Clone, dude. Don't even start that shit.
People who
Thank
don't like
you.
Attack of the Clones.
It's okay. That's fine. I'll pet peeve you all day long with that, David. I
Yeah,
don't care.
that's. Hey, I wasn't even thinking that. It was all Van. Van brought
I
that
know.
one out of me.
It was my dark
Because
influence.
he's got dark side powers too. You know, he's Sith.
We know.
All right, who's starting this off? Who's got pet peeve? What really drives you fucking insane that people do?
Okay.
When people
I got a
get
great one to-
mythologies
okay.
wrong, when
Whoa.
people get information wrong about mythologies, I see it all the time. I see it all the time.
And especially when they're so adamant about it.
You mean like
You're
Zeus being a
fucking
Roman
mythology.
god?
David, I know
Woo!
you're getting my goat here, but say stop. Stop it. Stop it right now. Just stop. Just
Say-
stop.
Say Wong.
Stop.
Oh, Mezzo touched on a
That's
good
a
one
good
there.
one. That's a good one.
All right, well, let's discuss. Let's talk about it.
Wait, you know what? No. Let me comment
Which one
on
are
that
we?
one
Which
with
one
Mezzo.
are we discussing? Which
Van,
one are we
put me on the
discussing
screen
now?
real quick. So this is what I do. If I have to check a message, like if I'm at the movies, right? I'm typically sitting like this, but I'll have my phone here, and then I'll do this. So
I put
you don't
mine
see,
away.
you
I
don't
will,
see
like-
the light, but yeah, I try to
do-
be
I
courteous
do
because
this. I do this, and I put it in my
I put
purse.
my
and
shit
I
on
put it in
airplane
my
mode like
purse.
you should,
Yeah.
and everyone can fucking wait.
but
Oh,
yeah, I mean that's it's like a little courtesy.
Thank you,
'cause,
Say Wong.
it's so terribly written. Why?
Graveyard is wrong.
God.
So badly written. Thank
Wow,
May
you.
the
that's-
force be with you, Spock.
That's not a pet.
Spock.
That's not a pet peeve. That is just fucking wrong, dude.
Van, you're you're the host. What's one of your pet peeves?
You know what? You know what's a really big pet peeve of mine, and it seems so simple, but like so many people. If I ask you a question that is a yes or no question, just answer with yes or no. I don't want like the whole story, and I don't want to have to figure out if it's fucking yes or no.
Well-
Just say goddamn yes or no.
Well, you see, the thing is,
Well, we stopped for a little while.
that depends on the scenario of which you're
It's
referring.
from a hey. It's from a certain point of view.
It's from a certain point of view.
Oh, that one drives me crazy. What about you? What about you, Anthony? What drives you crazy?
Well,
Anthony,
definitely on that one. Yeah, that's what kills me about politicians is that they'll be put in a situation of a yes or no. How do you feel? And it's never a direct answer. And for me, if I was ever a politician, no. It's a yes or a no. Tell me one or the other, and then give me your reason behind it, but don't just sidestep it. So this kind of segues into my pet peeve. I don't like hypocritical rhetoric that then uses straw man arguments. Like if I come to you with I don't like the things that you say because of this reason here, and you deflect it to some completely random ass statistic that has nothing to do with what I just said to you, that's a straw man argument. What did that have to do with what I just asked you about?
I mean, that's basic politics, isn't it?
Well,
But by the way, I just like
a
to
lot
say
of
not.
politics now, for sure.
Hold on. I love Graveyard who says his pet peeve is fake nerdum when he actually did a bad quote. The May the Force be with you as Spock. Whatever, fake nerd.
Touche. I like how Say Wong is not giving up on how good Attack of the Clones is.
Stop it, Say Wong. Stop. Just stop.
Hey, you know what? Say well, Christopher Lee was an even
Turn me
better
up, what?
Sauron. So
Am I
just
low?
gonna say that.
He was the perfect Sauron.
Try turning yourself up a little, Anthony. If you You sound fine to me, but I mean, maybe online you
I
are.
don't know how. I don't know how.
What are you doing?
Audio. This.
This is why
All
I
right.
don't talk with my puppies, because they just do this shit all the time.
All right. What else? What else
I
do we
hate
got out there?
sand.
All right. So on a more serious note, okay, one of my biggest pet peeves is being blamed for something I didn't do or I'm not responsible for. Oh
Yeah.
my
Yes.
God. Don't do that shit to me. I can't stand it. I don't like being accused of things. I don't like being blamed for things. You know, I love to quote Cable. I don't mind being wrong as long as I can correct my mistake. I will own a mistake all day. I will. But
Yeah.
don't push your bullshit on me when I either am A, not responsible for it, or B, didn't freaking do it. That's my pet peeve. You know, pet peeve number 2 is being lied about. I hate being lied about.
Yes.
Being lied about. Oh,
I was
Forrest
gonna.
said
That
this.
was.
Oh, Forrest did that. Oh, you know what Forrest said? Like, okay, biggest one. And
Of
again,
course, I love you.
I'm gonna. I
I
love you too,
same.
sweetie.
Same Z.
I'm gonna and here's and then and I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna freaking say it because I don't work for this place anymore, so I can freely say it on the internet. Forrest did not openly admit to quiet quitting. Forrest did not get on the air or on the internet. Now, I'm gonna look at all of you viewers, internet. I did not get on the internet and say, "Hey, guess what? I'm quiet quitting." I did not get on my Facebook page and say, "Oh, I'm going to quiet quit because I hate where I work." But still, somehow, some way, some coworker who had no access to my shit managed to screenshot what I said and managed to convince the entire freaking company, "Oh, Forrest is quiet quitting." No, screw you. That's not what I said. That's not what I said on Kyber Cave. That's not what I said on the job.
Yeah. James, just get on here. Like, you really want to put this point
Dude,
home.
I'm bowing to you right now, Forrest.
I know.
You're,
Yes,
you're,
Forrest.
you're coming to the
Absolutely.
right spot.
Hey, you know what? No.
I agree.
I'll tell you what Dave Chappelle said. I am publicly flogging a company. How about that?
Kevin said he said the S word. What's up, Kevin? Good to see you on tonight.
Forrest.
Miss.
Publicly say fuck.
No,
Come on.
not tonight.
No.
Just do it. Just do
I'll
it.
do it.
No,
You're in the right mind frame. Let all of us hear it right now. Just say it for me. Just go fuck. That's all I want to. That's all I want to hear.
I'm not doing it. I got family watching.
No, it's not do
Say
it.
This is so funny.
Man.
No.
I'm gonna go back and
So,
replay this later.
You know you're a grown adult. You're allowed to.
I know. Okay.
You get to sit at the big table now.
Say
He's
it now.
classy.
We'll edit it out later.
And a holy goddamn cockfuck. Oh wow.
All right, James says, big pet peeve, someone asking for an answer or advice but does not value it.
Yes!
What they really want is they're just looking for someone to agree with their point of view.
you know, I have a separate take on this, James, and I'm not lambasting for the pet peeve. I totally understand. But there are times where I will ask people's advice, not because I am I'm for their point of view, just to get a barometer of how I am thinking about something. But if you ask someone for their advice, it doesn't mean you're going to automatically take that advice. It means you're looking for them for their, as a confidant, as someone to bounce ideas off of, or to bounce hey, should I do this thing? This is all the things. This is what I've been thinking of. What is your opinion on that? What would you say is that? And they would be like, oh, it's this. And then later you're like, okay, I made the decision after weighing everything and doing it this way. And then people will be like, well, why didn't you take my advice? It's like, well, because I did. I just didn't. I took it into consideration. I just didn't decide to go with it because it didn't. After I meted it all out in my head, this seemed like the more logical answer. Maybe it was right, maybe it was wrong. It's not that I'm devaluing your opinion or devaluing your advice. I'm just taking that into consideration. And a lot of people automatically assume that if they are putting their opinion out there, it should be followed as a rule. And like not disrespectfully. Sorry, I respectfully disagree with that. So
And that's okay.
yeah,
That's okay because not all advice is correct.
right.
And also advice is typically based upon the experiences of that individual. You know,
Or you could say from a certain point of
several
view.
people can experience one situation several ways.
That's why
Rashomon was a good
dentists
thing for
recommend
that.
Trident.
That's why.
But-
Sorry, Anthony.
So that's why only 9 out of 10 dentists recommend Trident.
That's because the 10th dentist is trying to get a fucking yacht.
No, I've had this
Either
where,
that way, or it's the other
drag
9 that are
world.
trying to get it.
You know, I've had this in the drag world where, like, I've had a friend who is a performer come to me and be like, hey, you know, I just don't get it. Like, why don't I get more gigs? What am I doing wrong? Like, they're asking me for my advice. And I'll be like, well, it's because of your aesthetic. Like, you don't shape yourself. You don't wear pads. You don't wear a cincher. You're not wearing any kind of titties. You have thirsty ass hair. Your makeup is terrible. Like, there's all of these factors that are working against you, and yet you want to be booked everywhere.
Tell them how you really feel, Anthony.
No, exactly. For me, it's just, you know, just because you can jump into the splits doesn't make you a great drag queen. That's what frustrates me with a lot of what I see out there currently is because, oh, they jumped into the splits. Like, I've never seen that before. You see it with everybody. But, like, everyone has the same makeup. They have the same aesthetic. They have the same shoes. They have the same outfits. They have the same hair. And yet they're like, why aren't I a household name yet? Well, because you're a dime a fucking dozen. But with this individual, it was frustrating because people were always be like, oh, you remind me of them. And I'm like, bitch, where? Where do I have that look? Where do I have that waistline? Where do I have that style of performance ever? Name me one. I'm just tall and white like them, and that's about it. Like,
Hey, Anthony, let me ask you a question. Is this person a younger person?
no, they're about my age.
Okay. I was going to ask, do you guys feel like this is part of a product of the TikTok influence where, like, I feel like all these people are putting out the same exact videos. Somebody sees somebody do some dance or something, and it's cute, it gets a lot of views, so they imitate the exact same thing, thinking that they're going to do it.
Now, definitely with the younger generation of drag now that I've seen come about, they are all that, yes. Where it's like, you got your makeup from this other queen from Drag Race. You wear the same shoes as the other 5 people in your clique. You all work in this cliquey system where it's like the 6 of you get to be at everything, and everyone else is kind of pushed out unless there's...
Oh, welcome to working in America.
Yeah. Go figure. Cronyism's a thing? Never.
So, Kevin, okay. When Aubrey proves me wrong. Oh, James. Oh, just wait. Oh, wait, darling. This made me laugh. This made me laugh so hard. I love
Okay,
this.
I'm going to point something out. So, Kevin, I hope you don't mind, but I'm going to correct one word you put there. Be assimilated or dislike upon you. No. Be assimilated or cancellation upon you.
Talking about nerddoms.
And I would say that we are not the internet. We are not IMQ.
Yeah. So, okay, I'll throw another pet peeve, and this is just something stupid. But when people accuse you of not being a true fan, I can't stand people who get on their high horses on the internet and tell people
pretentious.
Yeah, you're like, oh, I like She-Hulk. You're not a true fan of She-Hulk. I love the new Captain America. You're not a true fan. Like, you just hear that
Who
that
the
true
fuck made you the judge of who's the true fan?
Thank you.
Oh, because you read issue 220 and you can verbatim say that. No, fuck that shit. That, I love Neon Genesis Evangelion. It doesn't make me like a better fan than the others because I've like dissected the ending movie 350 times. I don't know.
I love
I'm
you.
weird.
I just love you. No, I think that's amazing. I love it.
Let's talk about human instrumentality any day.
Thank you for bringing up the instrumentality.
I love it.
Oh God, I love that thing so much.
You missed it. I was talking. I don't know who I was talking to. I think it was Aaron and David. I think it was you guys. however who it was, we were talking about Neon Genesis Evangelion. I was talking about a guy that I used to know. And he was a nerd. Again, it's not about true for fandom or anything, but this guy was like, Neon Genesis Evangelion's overhyped. It's not that smart. And
Back
I
in
was
the
like,
day, it was.
no, it's actually, it's
I
like
still
Twin
prefer
Peaks,
to
dude. Stop.
Gundam. I find it a much more interesting character-driven
It's a much
story than
deeper.
Gundam.
Yeah, it's a way deeper story. It has multi-layered themes. I'm sorry, I
Yeah.
don't think so.
No,
I don't
like the
think
last
so,
two
but it was just
episodes
so
were a
funny.
mess for sure in the series. That's why they made a movie. But
No,
like,
And that
actually, it
movie was a
wasn't that they.
mess.
It wasn't that they were. I disagree. I don't think they were a mess at all. I just don't think that a lot of people understood them.
well, you had to watch them 6 times to understand them because they ran out of funding and they did not end it the way they needed to.
Not to mention the
Like-
fact that most of that
Mm.
script was written while the dude was in an insane asylum. So
Yeah,
there's
he was.
that.
Well, he was suffering really like heavy depression. And part of that was getting out of it. But yes, I understand. The manga is better explained than the anime for sure. But it's like Twin Peaks. A lot of people were not happy with the way Twin Peaks. They were like, we don't get it. We don't understand it. So David Lynch was like, oh, okay. You want me to make?
Well, I
me
feel like
explain
it's
it
one of
all?
those
Here's
things that
Fire
gets
Walk with Me.
rushed.
Fire Walk with Me is like one of the most depressing terrible movies ever. And I don't mean like badly made. I just mean like awful. Like it's so depressing. And I feel the same way with the Neon Genesis Evangelion movie. There, I said it.
Well, again, but
Feels
like
the
the
same
whole
way.
thing with human instrumentality, it's the idea that the you that exists for you is different from the you that exists for like your best friend or for your partner or for your parent or for all of the people that you encounter. They all view you in a different lens than what you see yourself as. And it's why we're all playing these multiple instruments. Like,
Well, it's being
to
used
some
as
people
pawns,
you're a
right?
violin, to some
Humans are
people
not.
you're a flute, to some people you're a clarinet, to some people you're a piano. And for you, like, you find yourself as this other core thing. And I think it's another big philosophy in
It
Japanese
also,
one
culture
thing
is that
you
there's
also-
the you that you present to the world, there's the you that you present to those that are close to you, and then there's the you that only you know because no one else is allowed to know that.
And that's
Well, yeah, but
every
there's-
single day. That's your Facebook persona, your Instagram persona, your work persona, your husband persona, your dad
Right.
persona.
Right.
Like,
But there's
and,
also
like,
even
am I-
so much more than that, though. Even in Neon Genesis Evangelion as well, to do with so much that is in it. There's science versus religion. There's man versus himself, which is what you're talking about, the instrumentality of it.
Oh, it's surviving
there's,
like
you know,
and that
catastrophic
horrible,
flood.
horrible
Surviving
freaking
catastrophic
ending.
Natural
I mean-
disasters. Segue back to our first topic. Haha.
I mean, like,
Dave.
how far will you go to the end justify the means? There's so many layers to Neon Genesis Evangelion. That's why I think it's such a smart anime.
Peeves are us.
Dave,
But
what's
yeah,
one of your pet peeves? I know what one of
my
Dave's
pet
pet
peeves?
peeves is when we talk about anime too damn much and he hasn't seen a bit of them.
Actually, that one doesn't really bother me. I started thinking of trying to come up with different witty names to put on my screen.
Peeves are. You are.
Didn't
What's
you
the-
see the one that I had a little while ago?
Oh.
No, pet peeve of mine. So I work construction. A major pet peeve of mine is when we have subcontractors that come in and do a really crappy job, and I have to either redo something or fix it. When I could have just done it to begin
I have a
with.
question for you, David.
Sure.
So a friend of mine who did a lot of construction, one of his big pet peeves, I wonder if you have this too, when the new guys come in and want to borrow your tools.
Ooh.
Oh, fuck yeah. I fucking can't stand that shit. At all. Not one bit.
I knew it. All right, cool.
There's a guy on a project that I'm working right now who is just fucking lazy, doesn't have any of his own tools. We're getting ready to wrap up this project right now. It's a restaurant we're building, and the grand opening is on Monday.
Oh,
And so that's why I've been working these nasty
wow.
hours all week long.
I'm so
Is
sorry.
really trying to get everything done. This dude's doing touch-up painting yesterday and the day before, and First of all, he doesn't clean his brushes, doesn't clean his rollers. He threw it all in a bucket of water and just kind of left it there. It's like, dude, we're trying to get this shit cleaned up, and you're just making another mess. You're just putting it somewhere else.
Right.
Mm.
Right.
And then standing around looking at his phone.
Tool theft is a big problem. I can imagine everyone should have names on their own tools.
I got my tools are spray painted red.
I'm sorry.
By the
real
blood
quick.
of my coworkers.
Kevin said something about Lord of the Rings, so I want to
I knew it.
ask him what he means.
Oh,
sorry,
yeah,
I just got
directed by the best-
totally.
Is it this
Best
one?
director ever.
Oh, shut up.
Is it this one, Aubrey?
Yes. I don't know what you mean by that, Kevin.
We were talking about gatekeepers, like for cosplay.
Is at the helms of Helm's Deep.
No, I understand what I understand the reference, guys.
Oh.
But what I'm saying is I don't understand what he means by this.
Well, that gatekeepers in general in communities are terrible and they should not exist. Like, we should not have a hierarchy of people who say, well, you're only allowed in this space if you meet this criteria. Because
you
so.
can only hang with us if you're a true fan.
Yeah, we got that, Aubrey. Anthony's telling you what he's saying.
No, I get it. No. Kevin was like, Helm's Deep is in the second movie. No. Yes, I understand. I know exactly. We've already brought out all of my Tolkien books. I know what Helm's Deep is.
Oh my God, you're adorable.
Here we go. Graveyard says pet peeve. Family member tries to charge me for getting help in something they do for a living, yet I have to do it for free for them.
Ooh.
Oh, I hate that. Yeah, it's a huge pet peeve.
Yeah, that's a rough one. People try to get your services for free. Or you know what I get is I get people that are be like, hey, I'm kind of an influencer. People know me. You should give me a lightsaber so I can advertise for you.
Oh, dude.
I'm like, what is your name again?
Virus.
My name again.
Hey, I'll show all your stuff off on TikTok if you give me something for free.
Thank you, Kevin. That makes so much more sense.
Like, astounding. The people that are like, oh, well, I'm an influencer. I have this many followers. Just give me free shit because I deserve it because that'll do you some good. It's like,
Thanks, Ewa.
fuck you. Like, unless you're gonna guarantee me like 5,000 sales, maybe I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, your $14.87 you get a month from YouTube for your 2,100 subscribers is not impressive. Sorry.
No.
Exactly. Yeah. You know, here's another. As a business owner, here's a pet peeve I get is oh, you guys should do this or you should sell this. I was like, okay, if it was that easy, bro, why don't you open your own store and see how easy it is just to get all this merchandise that you think I should have in my store.
Oh, that's like when people ask me for some random ass liquor that nobody but them has ever asked me for. Like,
right.
Oh, why don't you carry this? Because you're the first person that asked me for it, and I have this finite amount of space, and I really don't feel like carrying that eclectic thing just for you. I get that. If you're like 6 days a week and buy it all the time, hey, I'll start carrying it. But if you're going to come in once every 6 months and be like, oh, what? You don't have this particular fucking vodka that nobody but me's ever heard of? No? Sorry, I got 7 other brands you can choose from. Which one works for you?
I have the same kind of pet peeve at my at karaoke. I'll have people that go and like ask for songs, and I'm like, I don't have that, and they act like it's my fault, and I'm like, I get this down from my boss. Like, I can't help it that I don't have that particular song.
What do you mean you don't have my favorite garage band as a karaoke track? What about Beverly? You should have Beverly in your song list. Come on now.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't have that song for you. I apologize. I could write it down and ask if we could get it for you. They're like, but either that or it's like, but your other KJ has that song. Well, I'm sorry, I don't have the updates. I apologize.
I'm also not them.
I'm not them. Like,
my favorite moment of this kind of thing. It was I was working my bar shift one day, and someone's like, "Hey, so I had this drink once in Georgia, I'm like, okay, yeah.
And you're in
like,
California.
Do you think you can remake it for me? And I'm like, what was the drink called? I don't know. So
Oh,
what
yes.
was in it? I don't know. What color was it? I don't remember. I'm like,
Oh,
so
gosh.
it's a drink that you love so much, but you can't tell me what it's called, what's in it, what it looks like at all. Other
Songs
than
are
it
like that
reminded me
too.
of
Oh
Bob
God.
Marley.
Oh,
Like I
Anthony,
was like,
yes.
okay, I can try, but given that you've given me zero reference for this at this point, I'm just gonna make something. And of course, I made it. They're like, this isn't it. It was like, well, I didn't expect it to be Mary. I don't know what to tell you. Go back to
Karen. Okay, Karen.
Hey,
Oh,
Aubrey.
man.
Karen.
Aubrey,
Yes.
do you ever get hit with people that like will try to just come up to you and hum a tune or give you like 3 words of
I
lyrics and
that.
expect you to know
it's a
what the
song that
song
goes
is?
like this.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
Hey,
you
right.
know the one
Aubrey.
my
Like,
sister Mary likes.
and
Hey,
then, and
hey
then,
Aubrey,
and
do you have
then,
that song that goes like da 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 da? Hey,
That's a thing.
Should I have to give you more information than that? Because I'm sorry, your terrible singing can't help
oh
you.
yeah,
You
it's
can
not hey,
identify
it's
the
no
song.
no no hey. Yeah,
Country,
that's what
kind
it
of
is.
poppy, kind of R&B.
It's from that one group that was like from the 90s.
From that one,
It was in an 80s movie.
God.
I don't remember the name of. I think it had Kate Blanchett in it.
What kind of DJ are you? You don't even know the
I
songs.
think David Hasselhoff
Jesus.
sung it.
God, you're so. Like, I'm like, so do you know who the artist is? No. Okay. Do you know what the song title is? I think it's this. It's not.
Never
I'm like,
is.
never.
Oh my
Well,
god, you are
I
like
looked
the
at the
worst
lyrics.
karaoke bitch ever.
And it's, you know
Becky,
what?
we are out of here.
And you know what's even funnier
Give me
is
that Bob
so,
Marley shot before we go, okay?
What's
This
even
Isn't
is
funnier?
karaoke supposed to have like all the songs?
You know what's even funnier though is that I'll get treated that way, and my boss, they won't do that too. Like they won't. I've seen it happen a million times. Like they'll do that, and he goes, "Oh no, I don't." And they're like, "Okay, I guess we'll just go find another song then." And like, but like they do it to me. Like even they've seen me work with him. Like they know I work with him. They know all these things. They don't treat him like that. They do it to me though, and I'm like, "What the fuck?"
I
What
figure
the
another pet peeve of yours has got to be when some really drunken person gets on the stage and starts singing way off key. Like that's got to be the worst thing too.
No,
I'll
you know,
guarantee to the song I'm a creep.
you know, actually, it's funny. I don't. That actually doesn't bother me anymore. It hurts my ear, but it doesn't really bother me in the sense because I'm in that mode of like I want everyone to have fun and I want people to sing and
They're having a
enjoy
good
themselves no
time.
matter what. Once you have a great time, if you're having a great time, I'm happy. No, my biggest pet peeve actually in work is when drunken people come up and they try to take the mic from me or they try to touch my
Ooh.
equipment. That you
Oh.
want to see Aubrey suddenly get really like go Sith.
Never touch a sound tech's equipment.
Never touch a
No.
sound technique. Never grab somebody's mic, especially not asking. That I will.
Attack
I will
of the
get
It's like
Aubrey.
really
touching a
pissed.
drag queen's hair. Just
Yeah,
don't.
that's when you get you know Captain America.
Can I
It's
see
not
that?
good.
Fuck you.
That's
bitch.
when you get Attack of the Aubrey.
That's when
No, dude, I'm saying we gotta Dave and Anthony, we gotta go into Aubrey's joint one night and sing some Biz Marquee. Oh baby, you
You got
what I
Fun.
need.
I don't care. Whatever. You have fun.
Sessions is a friend.
Yeah, the more drinks, the better.
Because if it's on a Wednesday, I could never make it.
She
Oh,
does 2 shows now.
I have ones on Saturdays now, so you could
I
totally
also
come.
work Saturday nights. But
I know
it's
you.
okay.
Anthony.
Well, she said she does take she takes requests. Go in there and request her to sing something like System of a Down, Sugar.
Actually,
Oh.
I did a System of a Down song. I mean, it was a cover, but I did Land of Confusion, the System of a Down version. I'll do it.
I'll tell you what, so before I got the funeral home job, I was working like this temp job in a kitchen, and it was one of those holes in the wall that has karaoke night, you know, like twice a week. And I swear the same people would come up every time and they would sing songs from Frozen, and it would drive the kitchen freaking nuts. It was so bad.
Let it go.
They always started with that.
Of course.
See,
Every time.
the thing is what's really funny is I actually
theme song
will
from
only
Neverending
sing that
Story.
song. I love that song. Shush.
So do I,
Um,
actually. By Limon? Hell yeah.
Lamal?
Limon? Whatever. I
Lamal.
was close enough.
Say long.
Anyway,
Orangerie.
say why is
Lamal.
hilarious. But so I actually will sing that song, but I only sing that song for children or for very, very few people who will request it. And I will sing it, but I hate it. Not because, but
Which
it's not
version
like,
do you
it's just
sing?
hard. What do you mean?
Well, there's the version in the rolling credits, and then there's the version
I'm talking
that
about letting
that she sung
go.
in
I'm
the
talking
movie.
about let it go. I'm not
I
talking
know.
about the Neverending Story of the
She's
movie.
only
No,
talking
I'm
about
talking about
Idina
Let It Go.
Menzel, like
Yeah,
the
I only do
pop
Idina
ass
Menzel.
one after the fact nobody cares about.
Exactly.
Thank you.
I like the version that that's actually sung during the movie better.
You mean Demi Lovato?
Was she the voice for the character?
Oh my god, this
No,
is the
Idina
best show.
Menzel was the one in the movie. Demi
Idina
Lovato was
Menzel. I love Menzel's. Yeah.
Maureen from
She's
Ring.
such a. Yeah.
Adele Dazeem.
Adele Dazeem.
Thank you.
But yeah, I
Goddamn
mean,
Bugsy
it's interesting. Okay, so what actually bugs me more than people singing off key and having a great time is people who think they're really, really great singers and they're like, I'm the best singer ever. And then they get up and you're like, why was I hyped for like an hour and a half about how great of a singer you are? And you're
Can they
awful.
pull a falsetto like the Bee Gees?
I can.
Okay, can I add to a similar one to that I'm sure David and Aubrey will be able to attest to. probably particularly Aubrey. I used to hate when people used to come into the dojo when we would have like Saturday night battles, and it would always be like a new person, right? Just got their first lightsaber, but have been watching Star Wars since they were a little fucking kid, has never been to a goddamn martial arts studio in their life, but all of a sudden they want to tell you how their backhanded style is going to beat everybody in this dojo that they've never met before. Or some kind of like, you know, I watched Attack of the Clones 12 times, I can kick everybody's ass.
My
Am I right?
My backhanded style, like Star Killer.
Like,
Right? Am I right, Aubrey, or am I wrong? Like people that
No,
come in
you
and
are
think that
absolutely
because
right.
they've watched a couple of
100%.
goddamn Japanese movies, they know they've seen Kill Bill, so all of a sudden they know how to go whoop everybody's ass.
I don't know why it is, but I think you've probably seen how many people have come up to me and be like, "Oh yeah, I could beat you." How many people have you seen do that? Will come in when I'm there, when I've been there.
Right.
You're
Well,
like-
that's just
like,
sexist
"You're gonna
assholes.
Oh yeah.
as somebody who's done a lot of martial arts, all I can say is that I've gone into other places to like learn another style, and they'll be doing a technique, and I respond differently than what they were expecting, and it's always just like, but you can't do that. I'm like, but I just did.
Yeah.
So what are
So then they're
what
like,
are you gonna do when that happens to you? It's like,
Yeah.
well, I don't know. I'm like, okay, so don't have such a cocky fucking demeanor. Like,
well, now we have to break
I've
you of that habit.
sparred with some fucking gym rat, like bro douche dudes, fucking jacked, always about the creatine, about the gains, that, and then they want to get all the UFC with me. And it's like, okay, let's go. And then they'll like try to get me in an armbar. And like thinking, oh, that's an instant KO, and I just start picking them up and smashing them into the ground. Like, when are you gonna let go? When are you gonna let go? What's going on? They're like, why aren't you going down? I don't know, bro. When are you gonna let go? I'm gonna keep hitting you into the fucking floor. When are you gonna let go? And then it's like,
Just can't with you guys.
how did you do that? I'm like, I don't know, but why did you think that was gonna work?
You know, I just had this whole like picture in my head of Anthony whooping somebody's ass while in drag.
I love it. I love that idea.
Every single time I step foot outside my door and face, Fuck with me, world. See what happens. I will whoop your ass with go-go boots and still look fabulous, and you're gonna have to go and explain this to your friends later.
No,
and I don't care.
I need to see a full Aerith beatdown.
I will totally do Aerith drag, walk around town with my flower box, and then whoop their ass with that fucking basket. I will strangle them with it. I will beat their ass with one of those little pop-up staffs. If I get one of those, just wah, 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 wah. Ha!
Are you gonna go Lavitz on them? Go Lavitz on them. I would love to go straight up Lavitz on them. Yes.
There you go.
Yes,
Wow.
do it. Go Lavitz on that.
I will go full on great gospel on a motherfucker. They will not know what hit them. And then I will walk away and be like,
"Oh, he said great gospel."
Be with you.
Go great.
Have a good life.
Oh, I love this show. I love this show.
Wow.
That's right. I made a Legend of Dragoon reference.
I'm not really sure where we swerved off of pet peeves or if we're still there. Like, are we in pet
We're
peeves?
still talking about pet peeves. Yeah.
So
Oh,
the
I'm
thing
sure.
yeah, so
You never can tell with this show.
I know.
What? We went off topic? That's a bird.
Sounds like a pet peeve to me.
All
We're off topic again? Damn it.
right, what you got, Aubrey?
What I was going to say is that in martial arts, you kind of learn that the most dangerous people you've got are people that have been either training for such a long time that they have multiple black belts, or they're the white belts. And that's something that you actually learn as you're going through the martial arts, because with white belts, they don't know their own limits yet. And they also are the ones that will make the most mistakes, and actually people that they tend to hurt mostly themselves.
It's like baby cobras.
Yeah,
Baby
exactly.
cobras release the most venom, so they're actually the most dangerous because they haven't learned to control that shit.
Yeah. So that was one thing I wanted to add on top of that whole thing with the pet peeve of people who were like, yeah, I could do this, and then they
Belts don't mean a whole hell of a lot. Seth.
no, they don't.
Especially with Taekwondo. Taekwondo was such a money factory for tournaments and to get people leveled up. They didn't give a fuck about the katas. They didn't give a fuck about the skills. It was just like, oh, well, your parents paid for your next belt and you did most of it, so I guess I'm going to give it to you. That's fine. I've definitely whooped some people's asses and
That's a
got
horrifying
disqualified for it
It's
too.
really sad. Yeah, I don't call it.
That's
a
my
real martial
favorite pet peeve with martial arts. I will say this: you teach me to punch through things because that's part of the martial art itself. But when I do that in a tournament, well, now you're disqualified because you punched somebody too hard, Anthony. I literally thought that's what you taught me to do, was to kick through somebody, to punch through somebody. I'm sorry that they happened to turn and look at my fists while I did it, but
You're trying to goddamn killer over here. What did you expect?
I have plenty of self-control. I've never been in a fight outside of a sparring ring yet.
That's my favorite when people are fighting. They're like,
I will unleash.
This is why I do not do
If we're on the subject of fighting pet peeves, tell me if you've encountered this one, because I've hit this one before a few times. When people talk about how much they know about martial arts and how this style is so good, and then when you challenge them to a sparring match, all of a sudden they don't want to do it.
Oh, they're hurt or they're tired that night.
oh my god.
Yeah,
That was my favorite of the Aikido
or
kid.
they'll say, "Well, I don't
What
want
if
to
I do
hurt
this?
you."
I don't know. What if I do this? I don't know. What if I kick you this way? I don't know. Well, then what the fuck are you coming at me for? Study more.
I only know one defense from one attack.
I only know it if you punch me this particular way. Well,
Cobra Kai Lodi Edition.
Sorry.
People have learned all their martial arts by watching Jackie Chan movies.
No.
To be fair.
And Cobra Kai.
Please watch Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. I mean,
Thank you.
Oh, and they learned how to fly then too, huh?
Hell yeah.
Run
I
on
learned
the
to
air.
walk across the water like a dainty lily pad.
or use a sword as a helicopter blade.
Yes, that's true.
It only works as intimidation, guys. It doesn't actually work to do anything.
Kung Fu Panda.
That's how I feel about nunchucks.
There is
Like,
now
nunchucks are
a
like
level
the
0.
most flashy
All you have to do,
drop thing,
all you
but
have
it
to do
doesn't
is,
work.
yeah. All you have to do is do this, guys. That's it. Just to go into the windmill of death, and all you have to do is this. They'll trip themselves up. Case closed.
It's good to know.
Anyway, Good job. But I love it when I hate doing amp guard. I don't know if any of you guys do amp guard. You know what amp guard is?
What the hell are you doing, Anthony?
The windmill of death.
The windmill. The windmill.
Oh,
stuff.
yeah.
I don't,
Oh, I thought you
I
were
knew
trying to swat a
exactly what you
fly.
were doing. I
Yeah.
knew exactly what you were doing, Anthony. Oh my
I
god.
do that with my little cousins when they would like play fight with me. I'm like, oh, you can't get me. Oh, circular motion. Oh, I got slapped, didn't you? I'm sorry.
Hey, you know why Mr. Miyagi had to put Danielson in timeout, right?
He
caught
him
waxing off.
Wow.
There it is.
Oh, and there we go. It
There it
did.
is.
But you just have to. Okay. Anyways.
I had to do it.
What the hell? Somebody's got a background noise going on.
Yeah, that's my son playing guitar in the other room.
Oh.
Amp guard.
That's one of my pet peeves.
Yeah.
Background.
Bad fucking audio! Which mine is always the worst on every show.
Hey, well, earlier, you guys probably didn't hear earlier. He was practicing his metal screams. Did you hear that? Yeah. That's what he
Okay.
was doing.
Does anybody
What a proud
know
papa
what
moment.
amp guard is?
No, I do not know what amp guard is. Although I have heard of amp guard.
Okay, so amp guard is like play
American
fighting.
Express card?
Wait, is it foam?
Yeah, it's foam. It's foam.
It's foam fighting, right? Okay, yeah. But they're like, it's almost like the nightwear, but in foam. So they're still like whooping each other's ass.
Is that like foam dancing?
Sounds like LARPing to me.
LARPing.
Later graveyard.
Basically LARPing. Except they have these rules that, you can't like do anything like up like from here or like here or, below the
Oh
knee.
god, that sounds like
Which is
Taekwondo.
fun. But it's like I've
Only in the chest.
I have
circle
never-
Here,
I have-
here, and it has to be with your foot, not your fist, because those don't count.
it's
What?
Yeah.
I literally just
Like,
described
really?
Taekwondo like tournament
What?
style.
Beautiful.
And thing.
Wait, okay, but we're talking about amp guard, right?
Right. So one of the things they're like, oh, you can't use that as a kid. Like they do this all the time. I have decided I can't stand amp guard because I'm like, this isn't realistic. I get very strange about it. I don't like it.
That was my cross association right there.
Okay.
It's like
It
feels so fake.
but only with these certain things, and that's it.
Yeah,
Right.
you can only hit these certain areas that count only for this amount, and if you like lose a limb, you have to like go like this or
There was a fighting system
can't.
because
I
we
get it.
interview like Saber schools from all around, and everyone's got their own like fighting system or whatever. I remember one of them, they had a point system. It was 3 points for a headshot, 1 point for a body shot, but 2 points for a ball shot. And I was like, wow, dude, this is the only fighting set. I can see David like, hey. I was like, this is the only one that I know that actually encourages you to try to hit somebody else in the crotch. And they're like, we try to make it realistic. If you were in a war and, someone sliced you in the crotch, that would be a pretty massive hit.
No, that sounds a lot like Krav
Sure.
Maga, which honestly encouraged. Hit him in the nuts and then get the fuck out of Dodge. Like,
Krav Maga is some sick shit,
No,
man.
it is. It's
Love Krav Maga,
completely
actually, yeah.
like street smart self defense, and that was like one of the big tenets. Like if some guy comes up to you and is trying to mug you, and like if he's got a gun, give him your wallet. But like if he's gonna hurt you, hit him in the nuts and get the fuck out of there.
Right, dude. Like I've seen like motherfuckers literally like jump over a car and like take down like a gunman, while he's got a gun to a person's head. Those motherfuckers do not play around, dude.
No. But
Yeah.
it's also one of those like really helpful techniques. Like if somebody attacks you from behind and you don't know what to do, like flip up your leg up into their crotch and smack them in the nuts. It's like a quick little like tap that will make him probably react and then
It's
get the
sing.
fuck out of Dodge.
It's sing. You just do sing.
Yeah.
What is sing?
The one from Miss Congeniality,
This,
right?
this is congeniality, yeah.
Sternum,
Instep.
trachea, instep.
Yeah.
Oh.
Definitely am a supporter
yeah.
of that. T-zone, clavicle, neck, anything that
Just throw
makes the
punch.
eyes water is
I-
always good to go. But the
Another
instep, the crotch, yeah, for sure.
Another pet peeve of mine is when someone tries to explain me something that I know, as if they know, like my area of expertise is if they know more than I do, and they try to explain. I'm like, yes, I don't understand this at all. This is why I studied this for how many years?
It's called preaching to the choir.
Or mansplaining if it's done by a male, I guess.
Oh, it's
Well, that's
great.
when you just one up and be like, oh yeah, totally. This one time I did this to this guy just like that, and then really put them in their fucking place.
I actually had a guy come over, and he's like, I've done fencing and all this stuff for years. We should totally do this. And I said, well, okay. He's like, well, so you did all the streets. So like, what have you learned? I'm like, well, I have had a few teachers. I've done this for like 20 years. It's like really like how to deal with these situations, like in real applications. And he's like, well, I did fencing and all that. I'm like, okay, great. So the training, right? And he was like, very insistent on having the helmets and stuff, which is fine. I understand. And I was telling him, like, I don't really like doing all that stuff because I feel like it's too much hindering. I'd rather do it without armor. David knows this.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like I was showing him how like we move like in easy position, like going pretty slow, but I came up on him, like, like because you want to move, you're gonna move, but you're not hitting at full force or full speed. And he freaked the fuck out. He's like, you shouldn't have done that without asking me first. I'm like,
Excuse
you're
me, dude.
a fighter, dude.
God, I
You
have
said you've been doing this for like what, 20 years? Because I wasn't ready. I'm like, and then he tried to tell me that you couldn't disarm somebody with a sword that has a gun. I was like, excuse me? He's like, yeah, we did this. We actually did this with squirt guns. You cannot stop a bullet. I'm like, no, you just make it so they can't actually shoot the gun in the first place.
Yeah. No,
Like, it's up here, not here. Like, and he's like tried to
sparring session. It was a bunch of UFC kids, again, the bro douches. They invited me over to their garage that had a bunch of cardboard as a mat, which I thought was cute to begin with. But anywho, so they're like, okay, so we're gonna get into some, group things. Let's section people off. Like, Anthony, let's have you take on this guy. It's like, okay. So he immediately tries to run at my legs, and I step back and punch towards his face. Mm-hmm. And he goes, whoa, dude, what are you doing? I'm like, well, what? You tried to go at my legs. I was going to punch you. He's like, well, we're not striking. We're just grappling. Okay, well, no one told me that. I thought this was mixed martial arts. So I'm using what I know, which would be like, if someone's going to grab my legs, I'm going to punch you into the ground. But then I had to just go into grappling mode. And I'm like, I don't know any of these martial arts because I didn't take jiu-jitsu. I didn't take anything that was this realm. I have a lot of strike things under my belt. Whatever. Okay, let's do it. So he gets me into some sort of, position, and he's trying to do his things. And then I'm just kind of feeling myself. I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this. And I move out from under him and kind of pin him. And everyone's like, oh, you just did this like textbook move. And I'm like, I have no idea what book it's from. I just kind of went with what my body told me. So cool. But what I'm really feeling is like, if I went to MMA, I would just trounce people because like they'd be under this assumption of like, it's just grappling and I'm going to hit you into the ground.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Whatever's best for that situation.
Whoa, like,
let's do this intricate, like, choreography thing just to like move this tiny little rock.
No, screw that shit. I'm just going to hit you where it hurts, and then you're going to go down and go, oh, no.
I was making a terrible Avatar the movie joke. Never mind.
Oh, God, that movie is terrible. I'm so scared for the Netflix reboot, only for the fact that, like, I feel like anytime that we have an animated series that needs a live action remake, if it's already perfect, why are you fucking with it? Like Avatar.
They better not fuck with Princess Bride. That's all I know.
Yeah, exactly.
They're also
Exactly.
remaking the Neverending Story. I've
Thank
seen
you.
reviews. I
Another
hate
good
it.
one. Same thing with Cowboy Bebop when they were like announcing that Netflix original series. I'm like, but why?
I was
So,
pretty surprised.
Anime and find that just as, if not more entertaining. Like I don't get the need for it. I don't understand the requests of we need a live action remake Naruto or
Oh my
Full Metal
God.
Alchemist or Yu Yu Hakusho. Just watch the goddamn anime. It's already
Seriously.
good.
That
Did they
is
not
another
learn
pet
from
peeve of
Dragon Ball
mine.
Evolution? Seriously.
Another pet peeve of mine is when people pronounce words from other languages incorrectly.
Oh, I agree.
Oh, you mean like Ken and Ryu, not Ken and Ryu?
Oh yeah, that would hit. Oh, that would got me.
That
Oh,
one's
God.
tough. I think. Okay, I think.
How about Dormi Yamagata?
What?
Stop
What?
it. He's trying to say domo arigato, but he doesn't know how to say it right.
Dormi Yamagata.
Oh.
All right, guys. Well, we are at about the 10 minutes, 10-minute point here. We're gonna start our wrap ups. Man, pet peeves all over the place tonight. Not that is not a typical thing with Kyber Cave. I want to thank everybody for
all over.
being here tonight. Why don't we start with the first one on tonight? Fours.
Hi, I'm
Hello there.
Here's what I'm going to need you to do. I'm going to need you to go over to kybercave.com and I need you to buy a Saber. Because when you buy that Saber, you're then going to go over to forsfx.com or saberfont.com and you're going to get a sound font for it and it's going to be epic level. You're going to light your Saber up and it's going to sound perfect. And that's what you're going to do. And then after that, you're going to go over to a channel called The Helmet Fire, and you're going to find a show called All the Spice, where myself and my friend Brandon talk about gaming nerd tech stuff. And it's a lot of fun. And then you're going to tune back into Kyber Cave again, and you're going to watch our very own Mezzo play Mortuary Assistant and whatever games that are coming out. And then you're going to stick to that channel. And then you're going to watch me and some of these fine folks here play some stuff together. And it's going to be freaking awesome. And you know I'm serious because I'm looking straight at you. So, good night, everybody.
Alrighty. I love it. Miss Aubrey.
Captain America, excuse me. No.
Oh, I'm sorry, Cap.
It's fine. You get a pass for now. I'm Aubrey McCoy. I just, your average, singer performer on here. I sing, I dance, I do all the things. I fight. Yeah. Just that. I will probably, with Metso, sometime in the future be playing with her, so please tune into that. Whether I'm here, there, or not, please, just support her. She's awesome. Also, yeah, tune in to Saber Rattle on Sundays. We are going to be doing more things, so please keep that in mind here. So yeah, I also have a fan page on Facebook called BYL. That is my band I'm in, where we're doing originals. We actually just had a podcast, song release on a podcast. It's our first single. So please check into that, like it, do all the things. You can also find me on Spotify. I've got my own solo album on there that I wrote myself. So,
because she's talented like that.
Woo! All right. Mr. David, the hardworking man.
Dave's not here, man.
Only Zool. There is no Dave, only Zool. Sorry.
There is no Dave, only Zool.
Only Zool.
Only Zool.
What have I started?
Wow.
Anyways, yeah. Hello, I'm Dave. Swordsman. Pet conservative. Instigator. I've got a very dirty
transition man.
Very dirty mind, a very filthy mouth,
King of
but
the
a good
segues.
enough sense of humor that I pretty much get away with it. So
Dirty mind and filthy
tune in
mouth
for
won't
more.
go with
I'll try and come
me.
up with crazier names. Here's a pet peeve. I'm trying to do my outro, and these other assholes are talking over me.
I can go with that all night, David. All night.
That's okay.
Hey, everybody subscribe to Dave because his head is everything soft and smooth.
No, it's harder than hell.
Only when it's got bumps. Only when it doesn't have bumps. When I smack my
Hey,
head.
call me Lumpy. I'm all for it. I
All right.
give as good as I get, and I get a lot. So.
All right, Lumpy.
Oh, goodness. Hi, my name is Anthony. Otherwise,
How do you like it, Anthony? When I'm sorry.
I would like to
Stop
double
it.
down on David's filthy mouth. He can have that with me anytime. Yes, comments always from me. Outside of that, of course, I have my show on Wednesday nights here in Lodi. This coming month, I'm excited because it's all scary shit. I love October so much.
Ooh.
We're doing a occult classics for our next theme. So it's like kind of a play on words because it's about cult classics like Rocky Horror and Hedwig and things like that, but also occult things like witchcraft and spooky shit. We're gonna go on to like Monster Mash and Scream Queens. I was working
awesome.
it for Dante's Inferno, but we just did like 7 Deadly Sins, and everyone's like, "That's kind of the same thing." I'm like, I can't disagree. So it's fine. Yeah, 7 Deadly Sins was fun. I did a sloth number where literally somebody had to drag me across the floor on a blanket to collect my tips because I'm too lazy.
Yeah.
That's on my Facebook. Hit me up on Rubik's Q.Arcana. And then other than that, yeah.
Dante's Inferno is Chaucer self-insertion fan fiction. Sorry, I had to say it.
Yeah.
We'll talk about mentality next week.
All right. I love it with the themes that you have going on. Of course, I am Ark Excalo with the Kyber Cave and Kyber Cave Productions. Don't forget, we have a website. We also have a Patreon. Please help support this show. If you can only help with $1 every month, we would love to put your name on there just to show the big family and community that we have. We are trying to make the community bigger all the time, bringing you more exciting shows. As you've heard, Wednesdays we now have gaming, Kyber Cave Gaming, with our fabulous director Mezzo and with some of our other fabulous, I always get that wrong, some of our other fabulous hosts here will also be on there. I would love to get some more like live segment stuff too. So we have lots of good stuff. Make sure to check out our Patreon /Kyber Cave Productions. Check out our website, kybercave.com. And today's Friday, so our next show this Sunday. I am very excited. We have a representative from Ludosport. Ludosport was the first of the recognized Saber competition groups. They started out of Europe, and they are spread worldwide now. So we will get to talk to somebody who does Ludosport. I like them because, you know what? They have a San Francisco group. And the cool thing is they're a lot more, like their hits are a lot different. It's meant to be more showy. So they have this whole right of way thing that I want to learn about. So that's this Sunday night. Don't forget, we give away a free Saber every 50 subscribers, and we are growing fast. We're at 717 right now. So, woohoo! Subscribe, share with your friends. Tune in Wednesday mornings, Friday nights at 8 for this beautiful show, and Sundays at 7. I think that's about it, right?
Sounds good.
For now.
For now, until things change. All right, y'all. Thank you so much, Say Wong, Graveyard, Kevin, everybody that has been with us. Of course, our fabulous director, Mezzo, and Distance Nerding. If you have not checked them out on all your social medias and started listening to their podcast, what the hell's wrong with you? All right, guys. This has been Kyber Cave After Dark, and we shall see you later.
Peace.
Peace.
Janet.